here in just a minute. Pleased to have the Union College contingent with us here. Guys, congratulations. Welcome to Philadelphia. And of course, you may have seen the news just come out. Our Spencer Penrose Award recipient as the Division I Coach of the Year here, right here to my left, Coach Rick Bennett. Rick, congratulations, and we'll start with you with your opening thoughts.
Well, I guess you guys are probably getting a little sick of this one, but we are, because we're, as a group here, we're not. It's great to be here, coming back for a second time in 3 years. You know, feel very, very honored, privileged. I want to say congratulations to BC, Minnesota, and North Dakota as well. And we're looking forward to playing here tomorrow night.
All right, thanks very much, Coach. Matt, I know you just got here. You're at the Frozen Four. Thoughts? Been here before?
Just happy to be back, and hopefully we can do a little bit better than we did last time.
A little more than that, Matt.
Philly's a great city. Love it here. No, we're just excited to play. We're ready to go and prepared for BC, and we're just really excited to be playing.
Daniel, you spent a lot of time here in Philly? Been here before?
No, first time.
First time?
Just kind of like Matt said, just excited to be here, excited to get the game going tomorrow night, and it's kind of been a fun ride of the season, and I think the guys are just excited to continue it here in Philly.
And Shane, didn't mean to crowd you there with Marvin. We forgot to take Marvin away. He's 16th year as a media mascot of the Frozen Four. You can say hi to him if you'd like, but
I already did.
Eddie, we should probably take Marv away so Mark doesn't yell at us. That'd be good. But Shane, chance to win a national title.
It's definitely any chance you have to win a national title. It's definitely special. But being here in Philly, it's fun. Second time in 3 years for us now. But we're just excited to get on the ice finally and get out of school for the week. But definitely can't wait to play tomorrow.
All right. Again, we have the mics. Identify yourself. We'll start in the front and just make sure you address your question to a particular individual, please.
Ken Shaw from the Schenectady Gazette for the guys. Just how has the preparation been different from 2 years ago? Is it more relaxed than it maybe was as you get ready for this game?
Daniel, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think guys are just kind of a little more focused on what we're here to do, and more understanding of we're here to play a hockey game, and a couple hockey games. It's more of a business trip than it was last time we went to Tampa. I think kind of the pageantry of the event was a bit of a whirlwind for us the first time going. It was a program's first time at Frozen Four, and I think guys have been good so far, and I think now we're just trying to focus on tomorrow against Boston College.
Shane.
Yeah, like Daniel just said, I think our first time in the Frozen Four, we were just happy to be there. Of course, we wanted to win. It didn't end up our way, but this year it's more business approach here, and we're just looking to do some damage and better than we did last 2 years ago.
Matt?
Yeah, I think guys were a little bit awestruck with everything in Tampa, but definitely not so here. I think the upperclassmen done a great job of preparing the younger guys, and we're just treating it like it is just another hockey game. The nets are the same, puck's the same, and we'll be ready to go.
All right, further questions? Okay, right here in front.
Hi, Anthony Galizzi with the Boston Globe. Daniel, if you could talk about playing this year with Mike Vecchione and him as a center on your line. What has it been like playing with him, and what has he been able to bring for you guys?
I think Mike's a very dynamic player. I think the biggest thing I've noticed playing with him, I mean, he's a freshman, but he certainly doesn't play like a freshman. I mean, on the forward check, he's jumping pucks, jumping guys, and I think he's the kind of player that makes the players around him better. And I think as a freshman, you can't say that about many. And I mean, it's been a lot of fun playing with him. He's scored some really big goals for our team down the stretch, especially in Lake Placid. I remember he got a really big one, and it's been a blast for me personally. And he's a great player, and I think you can expect big things from him to come.
Okay, right here.
John Smallwood, Philadelphia Daily News. Coach Bennett, in a lot of sports, the BCS programs, the money from there makes a big difference. Why is this a sport where a school like yours, a Division III, in every sport except for hockey, can thrive and have success? And with the BCS money flowing in, is there a danger that could change in the future?
I haven't really got caught up in the BCS and all the money. I know how Union runs. It's been successful. The model's in place, being a financial aid school. It's worked well. We have a lot of alumni that have really supported our school, and through that, I think we thrive through Union College that way.
Our 264th game in Frozen Four history tomorrow, 5:06, by the way, drop of the puck on ESPN2. Yes, sir.
John Borg from Comcast Sportsnet Philadelphia. This is for Shane. Shane, Guy Goudreau coached you back in the day. I know that you skated with Johnny growing up in the same area. What does it mean to come to this venue here in Philadelphia and to go up against a guy like Johnny?
I'm not from New Jersey, but Johnny, I played with him at the World Junior. It's the only time I ever played with him, but I played against him a little bit when we were younger. He was on, I think, the Little Flyers, and I was on the Junior Panthers, and he's a great player. Even back then, he was still the smallest kid. He's an amazing player. Every time he touches the puck, it's something special is going to happen. The crowd gets on their feet, and he's not a kid you could just try and hit because he's pretty much unhittable. He's so shifty, but again, he's a great kid, and he's a very humble kid too. He was my roommate at the pre-tournament in Finland, and you couldn't even tell he was the best college hockey player because he was just so humble about it. He's just an easygoing kid, and he's definitely a great hockey player.
Right here, Jim.
Jim Conley from U.S. College Hockey Online. Rick, could you just comment on the Penrose Award, what it means to you and what it says about your staff?
Well, it means more to, I guess, to our staff than anything. I really do believe it's a staff award, and actually should be a player award. The players are the ones that are playing this game. They make you look good, and these guys have certainly done that in my time here at Union College, and I'm grateful, to them. Grateful to the staff. Jason Tapp, Joe Dume, and John Ronan have done a phenomenal job, and I mean they make you look good, and I think you got to put a name to the award. I guess my name is on that now, but it really belongs to everybody.
Okay, in the back here.
Jonathan Tannenwald from Philly.com. This question is for Shane first. I'm sure you've had some taste by now, given your ties to the Flyers, of how crazy the city is for hockey generally. But it doesn't have any Division I college hockey right in this region. It's that sort of grassroots hockey culture is not quite the same as it is in some of the other big cities in the country, and even some of the smaller towns like up where you guys are. Can you talk a little bit about that college hockey culture and maybe what this city might be missing in that regard? And Coach Bennett, if maybe you can add on afterwards as well.
It's a big difference between college hockey and, of course, pro is, of course, we're not getting paid. We go out there and we just put our heart on the line. Every guy is playing for the guy next to him. It's 100% all heart out there. College hockey is a dynamic game. We wear cages and stuff. Guys are blocking shots that you probably wouldn't see in pro, doing anything for their team just to raise a piece of wood at the end of the year. But it's worth everything. But college hockey is definitely a different game to pro. Of course, just it's all 100% heart.
Coach Bennett.
Yeah, the college versus pro. These guys are here. They're student athletes for a reason. They came to college because they wanted to be a student first and then an athlete second. Obviously, if you wanted to go that pro route, you probably would have went major junior or go that venue. But we really feel here, it's a great development model here in the college world, as I like to call it. And obviously these guys, the guys I'm sitting with up here have aspirations to, play on after, but it's also nice to play on after knowing that you have a degree, to fall back on. And even if you stay, because we've had guys in the past and doing this and that, have 3 years, but, are, coming back and whatever. So I think it's a great, just a great model that way. But I don't think playing for the jersey in college, it's something that you'll always remember. These guys will remember this to the day they have moved on. It's just something that it's great. I never experienced it as a player, being just a couple minutes away from it, and still talk to players about it and how we got beat. But these guys have gotten here, and now we want to take it to the next level. And this is something that's truly special.
Indeed, right behind you here.
Ed Barkowitz, Daily News Philadelphia. Shane, what's your exposure to Philadelphia? Have you been here before? Have you skated on this ice? Have you been to games here?
I've never been to a game here. During development camp, we came here. We had a tour of the locker room and stuff. Nothing too big. Just saw the ice. I've never skated here before until an hour ago. But did have a Geno's cheesesteak last night, so that was pretty good. Other than that, I haven't really seen Philly too much. I came here for a tournament when I was, I think, 9 years old, but I don't really remember it that much. But it's definitely been nice. The hospitality's been nice too.
What is your reaction having spent an hour out there?
It's definitely awesome. You catch yourself just waiting in line for the next rep of the drill, and you just catch yourself looking around at the banners and stuff, and it's pretty cool just being in such a building with all this history in it.
Okay, back here.
Coach, I guess as much as the...
Could you introduce
Sorry,
yourself again, please?
Jonathan Tannenwald, Philly.com. To go back to what I was asking a minute ago, to address also sort of the community that exists across college hockey, like when you go to the Frozen Four and every school has fans here, and there's a certain tight-knitness, it seems, with college hockey that even in the bigger stages of college football and basketball doesn't always exist.
Well, again, that's a question that, just watching the basketball here recently on TV, it looked like a great following. We feel the same way about, college hockey. I think it's going to be a tremendous atmosphere. As players, as coaches, we really do appreciate it. We appreciate our fans. We feel the fans at, Union College, the supporters of our program, travel well. And they're great fans. They're great people. And we enjoy just being associated with them. We work harder when we put that jersey on or we go behind the bench for them. And it's tremendous. And being at a venue like this, it's just a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
John, right here.
Yeah, this is for the coach.
Please reintroduce yourself for the
Yep,
transcription.
John Bork from Comcast Sportsnet Philadelphia. Some of the players were talking about, Coach, your selection of Rocky II on the bus ride down here. Why maybe you selected that particular movie, and maybe some of the players' takes on watching it, and if that gave them a sort of a motivational ploy.
Is that what they said? Okay. I didn't. That's the first time I heard of that one. But well, you always. I thought Rocky I was obviously a dynamite movie, but I think in the end what happened. I don't think he won, so that's why we threw in Rocky II, because he won. And it was just a phenomenal movie, a guy with a lot of heart, and I think this team embodies that. It has a lot of heart, and they come to work every practice and every game. And it was just kind of obviously going to Philly. Obviously has that ties as well, so not too much. I wouldn't look into it too much.
Rocky II, Matt?
It's a good movie. Coach always just throws on movies that kind of, I guess, reflects his how he feels about our current road trip. So, good movie, and I personally didn't really watch all of it because I've seen it before, but I'm sure some guys did.
Shane, what about Rocky II? Did Rocky II raise a piece of wood?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to watch it. I'm more of a headphone guy on the bus, though, but those movies are past my generation, or before my generation. But Coach said to me on the bus when we were getting on from a rest stop, Roadhouse is on right now. And Swayze, who's the man back then, so that was pretty cool. It was a little better than Rocky, I thought.
Daniel, you have to chime in here.
Well, our movie selections on the road are, some might describe them as suspect. It depends who's picking, but I think Coach chose Roadhouse after because he thinks his hair looks like Patrick Swayze. So I think that's pretty much all I got.
All right, John?
John Smallwood, Philadelphia Daily News. This is for the players. For people who aren't familiar with college hockey, they're going to they'll see the names and they'll see schools that they recognize, and then they'll say Union. And they're like, okay, Union. So my question would be what should they understand about college hockey and sports where this is not unusual for a school, for a program like yours to be in this position?
Shane?
I mean, you can sort of look at the basketball. I mean, it's a tournament that anyone can win. The hardest part, I think, is making the tournament sometimes. And when you get here, anything could happen. And I know people tab Union as a Cinderella, but we just look at ourselves as Union College. And pretty much that's it.
Union, by the way, is the winningest team coming into the Frozen Four with 30 wins. Daniel, what do you have on that topic?
I mean, like Shane said, I think we don't put too much emphasis on it. I think we just think at this point of the year, all the teams that have got here are great teams, and I think we just can't focus on that and just got to focus on what it's going to take for us to come out on top here. I mean, that's been our goal since the start of the year. So just focus on the parts of our game that makes us successful going into tomorrow.
Matt, tell us a little bit about Union College.
We're a small school, Schenectady, New York. The community does a great job rallying around us, and we might not fill a 10,000 seat arena, but we're 2,500 every night, and it's packed, it's loud, it's a real tough place to play, and I think that's just part of the college hockey atmosphere. It doesn't matter if you're at a big school or a small school, your fan support's just great, and we're lucky that we chose Union College as a place to play.
Okay, right here in front.
Jeff Cox with SB Nation. I was wondering if you guys could talk about, you're the only team that won your conference tournament. Is there anything that you can kind of delve from, winning 2 games and, 2 nights, kind of to translate to needing to win 2 games this weekend?
Daniel, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I think I think you can take a little bit from that, but I think everyone in college hockey plays 2-game series every weekend pretty much. So, but I don't know, I think the tournament format for our conferences makes a bit of a difference because you got to get kind of a more understanding that every second matters, and I think out there, and every little detail matters. So I think we learned a pretty good lesson there on what it takes, and I think we just got to try to continue that into this weekend.
Matt, anything to add on that?
I think all 4 teams here had to win their regional, and I think all teams can draw experience on that. But as far as a one and done goes, you just have to play shift by shift and period by period. You can't look too far ahead. Definitely not looking towards the next game because you might not get it. So it's all about staying in the moment and just playing that next shift.
Ken.
Ken Schatz, Connecticut Gazette. For Rick and Matt, you guys played BC last year for the first time, beat them 5-1. How important is that? Does that give you guys confidence going into tomorrow's game?
Matt, let's start with you.
Yeah, you can look back at that, and that was great for us. That was a big win for our school, but we're just looking at tomorrow's game for what it is. It's 2 different teams. Both teams have a lot of holdovers, but also a lot of guys playing big roles, and we're just ready to get going. But we really haven't watched that game a whole lot, and we haven't talked about it all that much. So we've just prepared for this Boston College team.
Coach Bennett.
Just to touch what Matt said, it is what it is. Last year's last year. I think it's a wash right now. Come 5 o'clock or 5:06.
5:06. You got it.
5:06. Who's ever getting off that bus, whatever team's ready to go, looking across to your opponent and who has the most heart and get some some bounces here and there. That's who's going to win. It's plain and simple.
Okay, in the back, Ed.
Ed Barkwitz, Daily News, Philadelphia. Coach, the fellas earlier said that the first experience with Frozen Four, that was just kind of a happy to be here type of thing. Do you sense that the team is different, first of all? And secondly, what are the challenges from a coaching standpoint to make sure that doesn't occur again?
Well, it is. You can just tell by their approach up here, just from the press conference in Tampa to now, just their demeanor. Demeanor in practices, demeanor today. Had a better practice than we did in Tampa, and it was just, out there. We weren't gripping the sticks. We're just playing, and that's what we want to do tomorrow. We're just going to play. We're tack type of team, and that's how we're going to approach it. And I think through that, you don't worry about how many people are here, where you are. As far as I'm concerned, we're back playing at a home game at Union, and that's the way we're going to kind of have to deal with it. So that's kind of how our feeling is going into it.
Okay, right back here in the back. Right here in front, yellow shirt. Sorry.
Scott McLaughlin, WEI.com in Boston. For Matt and Shane, I'm wondering how much you guys have gotten to watch BC's top line on video and what it's like preparing for a line that's been that dominant.
Matt, this is Matt.
We've got to see them a little bit. They're a tremendous line, and it's going to be about limiting the damage. They haven't really been kept off the score sheet all that much all year, so it's going to be about taking time and space away, and it's not simply a line matching up or a D pair matching up. It's the 5 guys on the ice. We work as a unit in the D zone, and it's going to be up to everyone to chip in to try and stop those guys.
Shane?
Yeah, like Coach just said.
Pretty much, we know they're going to get their chances, but it's limiting those chances, making them not high percentage chances, and pretty much just playing our D zone. Like Bode said, 5-man unit, and a lot of communication down there because they're slippery. They can get behind you, and we just got to play our game.
Okay, right here in front. And then we'll go in the back here.
Anthony Galizia with the Boston Globe. For Rick, I guess if you can expand on what I asked Daniel about Vecchione, to put a freshman on the center spot in the top line, there's a lot of responsibility there. Could you talk about how he's responded?
Well, I think he's earned it just through his play. He's had, I thought he started out pretty well in the season. He had an illness around the time, so he was out for like a month. He came back. Maybe that's helped him to where he is today. He's fresh, kind of going, similar to like a Max Novak who missed about 10 games this year in that regard. So maybe, we're seeing their best hockey now. But Daniel's pretty modest, as well as these guys up here too, Matt and Shane. These guys played a ton in their freshman year too. Had a lot of awards, a lot of accolades, and Mike is just kind of following suit. And Dan was on, at the top line as a freshman too, so I think he's passing that along, and I'm sure Matt and Shane have helped him along too.
Let me introduce Eric McDowell. I think he's out there. Eric, stand up, is from the PR staff of Union, and Daniel Jankowski. If you don't know Eric, there he is. Daniel Jankowski is in the locker room right now. If you don't know him, we'll introduce you to him. Sir?
Jason Gonzalez, Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Going back to the Rocky theme, last week Rick said that you guys have been given a little bit of a Rocky tag, kind of an underdog mentality. Is that a mindset that you guys prefer, or others have said you're somewhat of a favorite with your unbeaten streak coming into this weekend? Matt or Daniel?
Matt?
We don't look ourselves as an underdog or a favorite. You just, 2 great hockey teams playing a game, and whoever executes their system is the best, probably going to win. But as far as the media or outsiders having us an underdog, that's fine. And some people calling us favorites, that's fine too. We don't really put much stock into what other people are saying. We're just kind of keeping things in house in the locker room.
Daniel.
Yeah, I think Matt kind of hit it right on the head there. I think all that stuff doesn't come into the locker room, doesn't come into like team conversations or what guys are thinking. If it doesn't really affect us whether guys are picking us as a favorite or giving us the underdog tag, I just think it comes down to, like Matt said, who executes their systems the best and who kind of wants it more out there. And I think that's all we're focused on right now is getting ready for tomorrow.
Okay, yes, sir, right here.
Mark Singalis from the Albany Times-Union. Rick, you talked about how this practice today seemed to be better than the one 2 years ago in Tampa. Could you describe why, and does it make you feel better about your chances tomorrow?
Well, I don't know if it helps our chances. I just know that, through our practices, hopefully that's going to, definitely carries over, somewhat. Every guy's different. But I just felt today was the guys are more plugged in than the first time around. I thought we were a little starstruck there in Tampa, me being one of them. It was just one of those, just being a rookie coach, as well, staff. I don't know how you prepare for that. You prepare for that by going through experiences, and that's what we did. Here we are again, and I just thought today these guys are plugged in. It's a compliment to the guys I'm sitting up here with. These are the guys that make the practice go, and today they did.
You're tweeting, hashtag is Frozen4. I know that'll come as a big surprise. Further questions? Yes, ma'am. Right behind you there.
Joshvina Shaw, College Hockey News. This is for Coach Bennett. Colin Stevens was injured for about 4 games in the beginning of the year, but since he came back, how have you seen him kind of develop and progress, and how important is he to your team?
Well, I'm going to go with the second part. I think a goaltender is very important to your team, as we like to call them. I've said it about 22,000 times, our sacred 7 back there. It's our goalie and our 6D. And Colin has to save the puck. Our D have to get it up to our forwards, and that's what they do. And Colin is the backstop of that. He's a very humble guy, honest, so it's easy to play for him. These guys enjoy playing for him. And through his work, and I think the guys see this with Jason Tapp and other coaches, he works tremendously hard. He's very willing to get better. And I think through that, that's why, he's had this season that he's had. And he's had some great, some teachers along the way to help him. Troy Grosnick, he had a chance to watch Keith Kincaid a little bit, and Corey Milan as well. So, he's had a lot of, experience to fall back on.
Okay, John?
Yeah, John Borg, Comcast Sportsnet Philadelphia, for Coach. When guys get drafted, some of them, plateau and they don't progress the way that they should. Can you talk about Shane and what you've seen in the last couple of years and why he's, and maybe the progression that he's taken from the time that the Flyers drafted him?
What I just said about Colin is probably about the same thing I'm going to say about Shane. He came in, obviously he had a lot of help. He had a lot of help along the way. Nolan Joseph White, I believe, was his roommate, and I was, and I think that helped a ton. Nolan was a good leader. He's had Matt here. Back there, you can fall back on Matt, and through Matt's experience, and I think he passed that on too, as well as Dan, and what he had went through as a freshman. I think the fact that Shane, I thought, got better about middle of the year, his freshman year, in areas of his game when he really decided that, this, defensive thing's really going to help me here. And this is what we talked about in his recruiting trip. This is what he wanted to get better at. The offensive stuff, I'm not teaching him. That's I think that's a gift, just like it is with Matt and Dan. But it's just to bear down defensively, to play the game as at least our coaching staff feels the right way. 100% hockey player instead of a 50%er. And he's bought into it. And that's why he's gotten better. That's why these guys have gotten better.
In the back there?
NATO and U.S. College Hockey. For Rick, just going back to the summer, you had Josh Storrs leave early. You brought Michael Ponrelli to replace him. What let you pick Michael to come in out of some other player, and how do you feel he's adjusted as the year has gone on?
I'm not going to sit here and say that was an easy choice. We talked about it as a staff, but when you're player of all of Canada, I think it kind of makes it a little easier. And Jason Tapp and Joe Dume did a phenomenal job in that recruiting process. And Michael was willing to come. He wanted to come, and just made it easy. He's, like I said, he's had a very nice year. He's gone through some ups and downs too, just like every freshman does. But I think at crucial times he's come up big for us, and it just made the decision, pretty easy. In the fact we did lose a tremendous hockey player in Josh Juris. He was a super guy in the locker room, team guy, and as we said before, we wish him all the best, and still do. It's just the fact that when Mike came, it was a different element than Josh, and he seems to fit into our team.
Okay, very good. Guys, thanks very much. Best of luck. We'll see you tomorrow night.